Fam, what's up? What's up? Kyle Henderson, Bama football on YouTube, coming to you from Manhattan Beach. Kind of dark up in here. See if we can get some more light. I appreciate you guys running the thumbs up, liking and subscribing. Kyle Henderson coming to you from Manhattan Beach still for a couple more days. I'll be in back in. Let's see if I'm just adjusting the settings. Um, I will be back in Tuscaloosa on Friday evening, late, and we'll be back in action. So hit the thumbs up. I appreciate you guys being here. This is actually going to be a call-in show. So the call-in show number is going to be pinned. I think I'll be able to pin that number um, in the comment box. It's 205-850-1994. If you guys want to call in today and talk some Alabama Crimson Tide football, hit the thumbs up. I appreciate you guys being here. This is where I'm staying at here in Manhattan. I was going to go out to the beach, but then I realized I checked some of my other computer microphone settings and they were off. So whatever, it's all good. Can you guys hear me? Give me a thumbs up. I appreciate you guys being here. Yesterday was Transfer Portal Wednesday. My goodness, there was a lot of guys that hit the portal. We're going to talk about those guys, and I want to take your calls as well. So the number is pinned up at the top, 205-850-1994. That is the call-in line number coming to you from Manhattan Coach. Manhattan Beach, California. I was gonna say, "What's up, Coach?" Inside the comment box. You know what? This place that I'm staying at, it's a great place, but they don't have coffee mugs. So literally, I'm drinking this out of this cup, but all good. Um, where do we start? Well, I think that we kind of recap Transfer Portal Wednesday slash Tuesday. And what I mean by that is let's start out kind of on the offensive side and work our way to the defense and then talk about, kind of the impacts of each of these guys. And I'll wait for you guys to call. Again, the call line number is 205-850-1994. Um, I think the most impactful news from yesterday has to start with the news that one of the players is actually not hitting the portal, and that is Ty Simpson. Um, I felt that kind of looking at the quarterback situation, that one of those quarterbacks is going to leave. And I'm glad that Ty Simpson is coming back to compete. This says a lot about him, to be honest. And I think it says a lot about his relationship with Coach Saban and it says a lot about his relationship with Tommy Reese. It says a lot about himself, to be honest. I mean, anytime there's competition, you can either run from it or you can compete. And Ty Simpson's certainly a competitor. His pops is a coach at UT Martin, the head football coach. And when you're a coach, you understand that your son, your daughter is going to have to compete against the best to be able to play. What's up, Kyle? I see you inside the comment box. Corinthia Jackson, what's up? I appreciate you. Calling for Cliff Kingsbury. Wouldn't that be something else? Call line is open 205-850-1994. Call and chat with me today. Appreciate you guys. And I think it speaks volumes about what he sees within himself. Because if you believe in yourself, you can do whatever you want to do, right? You can set your goals and aspirations to whatever they're going to be. And that says a lot about him. So I love the fact that he's coming back and he's going to push Jalen Milroe. Competition makes the product better, 100%. So you have on the backside, and we talked about this yesterday, the quarterback room for Alabama going into springtime is truly dynamic in every sense of the word. You have Jalen Milroe, you have Ty Simpson, who is now going to be an experienced quarterback back there. And you gotta admit, good morning, Bobby Nash. What's up? I see you inside the comment box. What we saw from Ty Simpson against Kentucky, I thought that was impressive. And I think there's going to be a large portion out there that want to see like a true quarterback battle for the starting spot. I think Jalen has that spot locked up, and rightfully so. I mean, what he was able to do with Alabama this season was really, really impressive. But look, there's nothing wrong with having a quality backup quarterback. You have to. Julian's saying there's going to be a large percentage of people that are pushing for him to start. He's not ready. The guy looks like he's 180 pounds. Got to put weight on. Got to be able to pick up the concepts, and I'm sure he's going to. I mean, the kid is brings a lot to the table, but he's just not ready. Dylan Lonergan is also going to push Ty for that backup spot. So you have a lot of good competition taking place, and then you have Eli Holstein hitting the transfer portal, which seemed like the likely case, right? When you think about the quarterbacks listed, we knew that one of the quarterbacks is going to leave. I'm glad to see it's not Ty Simpson, to be honest. I think it's good for the quarterback room. So hit the thumbs up, run the thumbs up on these videos. I appreciate it. The more thumbs up, the better. The super chats appreciate it. If you want to become a fan funder, hit the join button. I appreciate you guys. And the call in line number is the same number as it always is, 205-850-1994. Plenty of room to call in this morning and talk Alabama Crimson Tide football. Not really surprised with the news about Eli Holstein hitting the transfer portal. I think it's best for him. And I think what happened there was Dylan Lonergan was able to beat him out, which is fine. And Eli Holstein will go somewhere else and he'll land on his feet and things will work out from him. We talked, and I'm kind of just going to go by this position by position. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for all the support inside the comment box for sure, 100%. Yeah, he wasn't better than Lonergan. Jeff is saying 100%. I mean, that's what it came down to. Like, there was no way that he was going to beat Lonergan, and then looking behind him and seeing Julian saying, you got to hit the portal, which is fine. Running backs, those guys all intact so far, and I'm sure those guys are talking with Coach Saban at this very point in time, or they already have, about to make their decision. And I think it's funny the way that reporters are breaking down news right now. Is like, if you don't know what's going to happen, you just say, the belief is, the expectation is. I'm gonna start saying that. I'd be like, the expectation is that Alabama is going to be badass next year. It's like, of course that's going to be the case, but how the wording, because when you say it like that, like, the belief is, the expectation was, it saves you from being wrong, right? Because you'd be like, well, that was the expectation, but that was the belief, right? My psychic said this and it didn't happen, so I'm not wrong, right? The truth be told, is like, there's a couple people with scoop, but most of the people who have scoop is like Coach Saban and the players. And Brandon is asking about Terran Arnold. The belief is that Terran Arnold is going to the NFL, but the expectation is he could return. How about that? Save you on both sides. Terrion has not made an official announcement just yet. When he does, we will bring that to you right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I'm using kind of a new call-in setting. So I have a couple calls that have just joined the show. I am going to take those calls. Will you guys please give me a thumbs up inside the comment box if you guys can hear those calls? If I can't hear those calls, what we're going to do is the question and answer series, and then I'll get back to my regular call-in show next week. But I'm going to take a call right now. You just give me a thumbs up if you can hear the caller, and then we'll move forward, okay? So here we go. And our first caller is a 720. Hey, good morning. You're on the line with Kyle Henderson. Who am I on the line with, and where are you calling in from? Yo, Rob, can you hear me? All right. How about in the comment box? Can everybody hear Rob? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear Rob inside the comment box. Hold on, Rob. Hang tight real quick. I want to make sure that everybody can hear you. Thumbs up. Can you guys hear Rob? No. James is saying no. Everybody is saying no. Okay. All right, Rob. Yeah, sorry, man. Hit me back next week when I have my usual call-in set up, and I will get to you uh, when I can. Okay. Well, actually, stay with me, real. Go ahead. Go ahead, Rob. Mm, yeah, Rob, I got to catch up with you next time, man. The calls aren't going through to my show, so I'll catch up with you next week, man. Sorry about that, bro. See ya. All right. I had to bounce out on my calls. 865. Go ahead and hang up too. I don't want you waiting on the line. All right. So basically, Rob was asking me if I thought the college football playoffs were rigged. In terms of what was going on. Look, I have no idea, like, all about the point shaving and stuff like that. We'll probably learn about that sort of stuff like 20 years after, when it doesn't matter. I don't know. I mean, what I know is when you look at the Rose Bowl and when you look at the Sugar Bowl, each of those games came down to the last play. Vegas had Michigan winning by, I think, favored by like 1 or 2 points. Yeah, I thought what was going to happen is that Michigan was going to score, which they did, and then they were going to go for two to win that game by 1 point. That would have been crazy because that would have meant that that Michigan was able to win by 1 point, like Vegas had said. So yeah, AC, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, this hat has been the only problem is like this hat is now like it's dope. And when I was wearing it at the Rose Bowl, literally everybody was coming up to me. They're like, "Where'd you get that hat?" And I dipped in to this spot to get, I wanted to get my dad a hat, which I did. I have a couple hats here, but I was like, man, I got to get myself a hat as well. And then everybody was asking me for the hat. There's actually a white one floating around too, which I wanted to check out, but whatever. Um, I was talking about the running backs, and we're talking about kind of the news and the rumors about guys coming or staying, and kind of the impact that each of these guys will have. I I wouldn't, and the reason we talk about these guys, and I keep saying this all week, is like there's a COVID year that exists. So if one of these running backs wanted to come back, they could, Roydell or Jace or both. I don't know what is going to happen. The expectation is that each of these guys goes on from Alabama, and the belief is that I'm sorry. The belief is that you have Justice and Jan Miller as the combo running backs. I mean, I think that would be a monumental duo. And then you have Richard Young, and then you have Kevin Riley in the back end, and maybe even a Daniel Hill who jumps on board. So I don't know. That's kind of the belief that is going to happen. So that's how I'm looking at Alabama's running back room. So as soon as those guys make announcements, we'll bring those to you right here, either on a YouTube short or a YouTube live. And the thing I was thinking about as well is like, people have been making a big deal out of like Dallas Turner announcing or JC Latham announcing for the NFL. Were you shocked by that? Like no, like these guys have been getting first round grades all season long. We knew these guys were gone before they were going. You think that Dallas Turner honestly was going to come back for another year? No. What does he have to prove? What does JC Latham have to prove? So I think it's hilarious to be like, breaking news: Dallas Turner is going. The one we're all watching is Terran Arnold. Sorry, I gotta get that. This is my coffee mug for today. Um, all right, wide receivers. We've seen some. We have a lot to dive into there. You lose your wide receiver coach, Holman Wiggins. You lose Shaz Preston. That was on Tuesday. Yesterday, you had Malik Benson hit the portal as well. Previous to this, you have Ja'Cory Brooks, who entered the portal and then bounced out to. I'm reading. Alex is talking about Dallas Turner. I'll get to you in a second. And then you had Ja'Cory Brooks, who transferred out and is going to Louisville. Look, I think Malik Benson. I had high hopes for him. I think I was wrong on the fact that I thought Ty Simpson would leave, and I was wrong on the fact that I thought Malik Benson would have a big year. I think Malik Benson was put in some situations to be able to have opportunities to showcase his ability for Alabama, but those came up on a short side of the drops or whatever. So not that big of a deal that he's leaving, in my opinion, considering the guys that are behind him. Ja'Cory Brooks was the really interesting wide receiver to hit the portal. I just thought that, this season, I know he had like a shoulder injury, but I liked his talent. I mean, he caught for a ton of yards here at Alabama the previous season. Came up big in a couple games, but you move on and you move out, and that wide receiver room is always going to be stacked here at Alabama. But you do lose Holman Wiggins, and I've kind of went back and forth with a couple of our fans here. Talking about the departure of Holman Wiggins and if you guys think it's a big loss or not. And a lot of people have kind of been split over that. A lot of people really weren't happy with the job that Holman Wiggins did here at Alabama. I disagree. I think I think we've seen growth from Holman Wiggins, and I caught up with him recently at Media Day and was kind of trading points with him and talking about kind of that ride out mentality coming back. I think it was more a fact like last season. It was more about the fact that Alabama just their guys weren't ready to contribute at the highest level. Whereas this year, these guys really transformed into to that ride out mentality, right? I mean, Isaiah Bond, Kendrick Law, all those sophomores that we always talk about. Those guys were dogs. So was Jermaine Burton, and but besides that, they didn't really have an upper class wide receiver. Whoever walks in here, and I know you guys are asking about potential replacements for a wide receiver coach. I don't know that. I'm sure Coach Saban is doing his due diligence right now to figure all that stuff up. Can you imagine Coach Saban's continued schedule, like not only the Rose Bowl and then having to meet with all these guys, talking about the roster organization, replacing coaches, because now you lose two coaches following the actual season. Coleman Hutzler, who coached the outside linebackers, he's going to be the DC at Mississippi State, and then you have Holman Wiggins, who is going to be the new wide receiver coach for Texas A&M. Texas A&M had some ballers at the wide receiver position, right? Anais Smith, Evan Stewart, who is now in the transfer portal, and then Musid Muhammad. I mean, those guys are phenomenal, and we all know that Texas A&M is going to be back. I don't know how the new coaching regime will be, but I know that they have guys clearly. So props to Holman Wiggins for going on, and we wish the best for him. I think when you look to the tight end room, you had Mile Ketzeman hit the portal. Not really a big loss. It wasn't a key contributor this year for Alabama. You do have guys like CJ Dupree, Amari Niblack. You added Caleb Odom. You have Danny Lewis. You have Robbie Oots. Actually, that's a really stacked running back room, 100%. Or sorry, tight end room. 100% when you look to all those guys coming back. Somebody said kind of watch for Danny Lewis to potentially hit the portal. That would be I really like Danny Lewis's game. In fact, he was a starter in the springtime. And then Robbie Oots is an H-back. And I think with the addition of also Jay Lindsey, he's kind of, man, that's a lot of tight ends there. Jeez. Jay Lindsey is also, in my opinion, a future H-back. What I mean by H-back is kind of a bigger type tight end. That can get the job done. So that's a loaded tight end room. Offensive line, the biggest news yesterday, when the video went crazy when we went live, is that Seth McLaughlin is hitting the transfer portal. Man, look, and I see it in the comment box. People are like, man, everyone's dogging him and mad at him. Nobody's mad at him personally. I don't think that anybody has any beef with him, like personally as a person. But look, at this level, you expect to have a center that is capable, that can play at the highest level, that can get the job done. And when you're put in that position and you underperform, that reflects on yourself as a player, and that reflects on the coaches as well. I mean, I kind of, good question and I think Coach Saban was asked about this a couple times, was about the center. Why continue to have Seth in there? Same thing for Tommy Reese, because I promise you, if it was a running back who had fumbled the football 10 times or 20 times, that running back would be done. Same thing with the quarterback. If you had thrown 15 interceptions, you'd be done. You're talking about the first play of the offense every single time. And somebody said it was 30 snaps. I don't know. Is there someone that has more than 30 bad snaps this year? It felt like 40 or 50. I've never seen bad snaps. That's like, I don't think you guys have either. So him hitting the portal is a good thing for Alabama. I think he just had to move on from the program. And like I said, nobody's mad at the kid. It's just like, man, it's time to look other options. Terrence Ferguson was a little bit of a surprise to me, because when you look to Alabama's depth chart at the center position, Terrence Ferguson, I liked his game, because when he came to Alabama, he was a guard, and he was a pulling guard, and then kind of morphed into, this center. And he was playing guard at the beginning of the season for Alabama, and then they swapped him out, and then Jaden Roberts just turned into Hulk. So you couldn't start him over them. But I thought that TJ Ferguson would then be the center. Didn't work out for him. So he's hitting the portal. So now it looks like Alabama is either going to, figure out another guy on the offensive line to be the center, or it's going to be James Brockemeyer. So for all you people asking about the Brockemeyers, well, there's still a Brockemeyer on board, and that is going to be James Brockemeyer. His brother, Tommy Brockemeyer, went to the portal last season, is now at TCU along with JoJo Earl and Trey Sanders. So looks like James Brockemeyer could be the front runner to be the center. Again, this is all speculation. This is the expectation is for James Brockemeyer to be the center for Alabama, but who knows? I mean, I do like Alabama's offensive line if they can figure out who's going to be the center and the right tackle for this coming springtime. But that's what the springtime is about. It's about to get all these guys in. What's up, Quincy? I see you inside the comment box. Do you think we will lose because of Milroe's track record or not really putting up passing numbers? And he's talking about wide receivers. That's what Alex is asking. I'll get to your guys' questions in just a minute. I don't think that wide receivers are going to leave because of anything to do with the current quarterbacks on the roster. I think if wide receivers are going to leave, it's going to be because they see that it's going to be difficult for them to get on the field with all these sophomores coming back as juniors, and then also with the addition of Amari Jefferson. And Rico Scott and Ryan Williams when Ryan Williams eventually signs with the Alabama Crimson Tide. I mean, think about that. I mean, that's really 7 wide receivers that are coming back, with the young freshman who contributed as well, Jalen Hamilton, to be able to play. So, yeah, I think the wide receivers are leaving because they just know that they're not going to be able to get on the field. I think a really big blow would be if, like, Emmanuel Henderson decided to dip out. I was talking with Holman Wiggins, and Holman Wiggins said that Emmanuel Henderson made like the catch of the year at one of these practices. So the only thing that slowed Emmanuel Henderson down was the fact that he got injured right before the season. Otherwise, and he came in as a running back. Remember, he came in as a running back, but because of his body type, and he's tall, he's like 6'1", 6'2". So I think that would be a big loss if Emmanuel Henderson decides to go somewhere else. I don't think he will. Um, all right, we talked about the tight ends, talked about the offensive line, talked about the defense. Oh, I saw the thought process is the fact that Tim Smith is going to come back. Well, where would he go? The NFL? He's not ready for the NFL. Yeah, so Tim Smith, I expect him to come back. Justin Ebogbe is going to be exiting the program. Kind of a shock was Monkel Goodwine. Didn't feel that his story was complete here at Alabama. So when I look to guys that are leaving, that one kind of shocks me, along with Terrence Ferguson at the center position. Thought Monkel Goodwine, there was going to be room for him to compete with Alabama's defensive front, but maybe with the addition of LT Overton, from Texas A&M, maybe that had him encouraged to go into the portal. So next year, when you're looking at defensive linemen for Alabama, Tim Smith, Tim Keenan, LT Overton, some of those guys, and maybe a couple new guys that will get spots to be able to rotate in. Um, Outside backers, not surprising at all that Chris Broswell and Dallas Turner are going to the NFL. Those guys have received, first round grades. I'm sure Broswell's received either a late first round grade or a second round grade for his performance this year. So then you have Yanze Pierre, and then you have Keon Keeley as outside linebackers. Inside linebackers, Deontay Lawson and Jahad Campbell. People are the same thing. People are like, the belief is that Deontay Lawson is going to come back. I think he's going. I think right now Deontay Lawson could go into the NFL and be like a 3rd or a 4th round guy. And if that is the case, Coach Saban is going to tell him to 1,000,000% come back. And the reason is Coach Saban can see the forest from the trees, and he talks to these players, and he's like, "Look, if you're not getting a 3rd or 4th round grade, or a 1st or 2nd round, come back." You got some NIL that they can take care of you. And then also, the long-term process of these guys going 1st and 2nd round makes so much more sense. So if Deontay Lawson can come back, and he can because of his eligibility, if he wants to, I think that's the best move. And then you look to Alabama's defense next year, potentially 2 redshirt freshmen at the outside edge, or Quay Russo, who we haven't talked a lot about. Inside linebackers, Jahad Campbell and Deontay Lawson. I like that defensive front. You also have the corner position, Kool-Aid, and then we are waiting on an announcement from Terrion Arnold. So once Terrion Arnold does make an announcement, we'll bring that right here to Bama football. I would say that he's going to leave, but if he comes back, I mean, my goodness, what an added addition for Alabama at the corner spot, because you have Damani Jackson coming in. You have Trey Amos coming in as well. So I like that setup at the corner position. I was surprised that Earl Little hit the transfer portal. We don't know about Malachi Moore either, right? Because, that's a really nice addition to Keanu Coot, right? Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I think Kyle wants to stay in LA. Man, I love it here. LA is a good spot. This is a cool spot that I'm at right here. Down in Manhattan Beach. So I had a couple meetings that I had to come check out too. And kind of really, I said this yesterday, talking about my career, what I'm going to do. This is the first time I've ever ran a YouTube channel just by myself. So run the thumbs up. I appreciate you guys supporting the content. Okay, we talked about, I was shocked with Earl Little. Were you guys shocked with Earl Little? I thought that, that was kind of shocking, but you guys mentioned it yesterday. Des Ricks also in the mix as well on the secondary. You have Caleb Downs coming back at safety, Jalen Key out. Christian Story also hit the portal, but then also returning, you have Tony Mitchell. So Tony Mitchell, we saw just a tiny little bit of Tony Mitchell, but I think this next season or in the springtime, we start to see the growth of Tony Mitchell as a player. So really excited to him. What's up, Beards and Shenanigans? I see you inside the comment box. And then on special teams, you have James Burnup and coming back, and then you also will lose Will Riker, who I think will be the biggest blow. That's a lot of points. Think about that, because I always look to uh like next year in terms of like points, right? So if you take off all of the points or yards from like offensive players, I mean, let's just talk points first. How many points do you lose from Will Riker? Someone look it up real quick. How many points that Will Riker scored this entire season? Post it in chat. I mean, he's the all-time leading scorer in college football history. You take all those points off, you got to replace him. And that's a huge job. Connor Talty, Sherry, that is who is going to place Will Riker. He's a freshman this year, played in one game, and had a tackle actually, which is the weird thing because you usually don't get tackles when you're a kicker, but he did. All right, so I think it's a good time to take some questions. So throw your questions inside the comment box. I'll get to you guys as I see them come in. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Run the thumbs up. I appreciate you guys being here. And thank you very much for joining me this morning. I'll get to your questions inside the comment box. Next week, I'll be back in Tuscaloosa and we'll get back to the regular call-in show in the morning, which is a good spot where I can catch up with you guys. I appreciate you guys always joining in. 121 points, Jarvis. Man, that's a lot of points. Take off all those points from the season and take away those points in late season games. Take away those points in big games. And he had the confidence, right? I know he missed 2 against LSU and 1 against who was it? Was it Tennessee? I think. But other than that, it was money. Kyle, who's going to be our edge rushers next season? 505. What's up? I appreciate you guys. I would say, I mean, look, maybe, depending on what happens with Q Robinson, if he leaves or if he comes back, I think he's probably one of the front runners. And then you have a 3-way race between Keon Keeley, you have Jan Pierre, and then you have Quay Russo. So all those guys going to be in the mix. I was walking by Keon Keeley at the Rose Bowl. I said this earlier. He's every bit at 6'5". I saw Yanze as well. The guy is like absolutely like you're perfect. Remember, so what I like my edge rushers that have a little bit more height and their arms are a little bit longer. Dallas Turner, he's a big dude at 6'4", pretty good wingspan. But like I remember Terrell Lewis, he had a really big wingspan. So when I talk about like Yanze or Keon Keeley, they have that same type of body style where their arms are really, really long and they're tall, like 6'5", and they have a lot of athleticism. So that's how I kind of like my edge rushers. And I think what that does is because you're competing with outside tackles and you're having to get to the quarterback. That's what was so amazing about Dallas Turner. Because if you saw him, you're like he wore 260 pounds incredibly well. I mean, must have incredible bone density because he didn't have like an ounce of fat on him. And the dude's 260 flying at quarterbacks. That just tells Dallas Turner is just built different. Golf and Outdoors is saying that he hates that Malik Benson is leaving. Yeah, I think that is certainly a blow to the receiving room, but not an overall big blow. Like him or Shad, because I say that like no disrespect to Malik, I just think that the wide receivers coming back are just that good. And he did, like Jeff is saying, he did drop passes for sure. Do we have another Jalen or Tua situation this spring with either Simpson or Sane putting pressure on Jalen? I think that's probably going to be something that is exciting to talk about. But the reality is you have your quarterback coming back. You have Jalen Milroe coming back, and he's going to have even more experience. And I think when you look to the quarterbacks that are playing in the national title game, each of them, J.J. McCarthy and Penix, those guys have experience. They have years under them. And I can't imagine how much better Jalen is going to be, specifically even if he has some good continuity with the center for this coming season. So that's what I'm really looking at when we look to I just got a text message. Sorry. Just saw that Earl Little is actually expected to check out Florida State. So that would be interesting. Earl Little, I know, hit the portal yesterday and is expected to visit Florida State. So that would be good for Florida State. I think Earl Little is baller. But I think the quarterback position is is solid. Now, look, the best player has to play, and if the coaches see something that they want to switch up and change gears at the quarterback position, they're going to do that. Coach Saban isn't afraid to do that. We saw him do that in a national title game. But Jalen is the guy. Jalen is the starter, 1,000,000%. I don't think that you go into the season and you see Ty Simpson or Julian Sain or Dylan Lonergan with the ones, or repping with the ones initially. Like all the guys kind of rotate with the ones, if that makes sense. That's how Alabama runs their practice. But the main guy is going to be Jalen Milroe, and I think those guys are going to push him. And like I said earlier, competition makes the product better. Um, you think we have a snap count issue with Seth Broswell just declared for the NFL draft? Yeah, so Jarvis is saying that Chris Broswell just declared for the NFL draft. Yeah, no surprise, like zero surprise. I think there's going to be other people who make like a big deal and kind of sensationalize that. Not a shocker at all. Like the guy's a first round draft pick who had a tremendous season, and he's a great story for younger guys that didn't get to play. Chris Broswell, because he waited his turn. And everyone was like, where's the 5-star freshman? Where's this guy going to be? Remember, he came and it took him some time to get on the field, but he had to wait behind William Anderson. And he himself even talked about that. So no surprise that Chris Broswell's going off. And that says a lot about Alabama's think about this. The draft hasn't happened, but I would assume that he goes in the first round or the second round, which would mean that Alabama's defense would have William Anderson last year as a number 3 overall pick, Dallas Turner probably a top 15 pick, and Chris Broswell somewhere in the top 30. That's 3 edge rushers in the first round over the last 2 years. So man, that's a lot of talent that Alabama's had on the defensive side. And crazy that Alabama hasn't been able to reel in a national title with all these defensive guys playing at the highest level, specifically with you had Bryce. But I don't think that Bryce had the receivers that Jalen Milroe did this year, right? Like these guys just weren't at the level that they are under Bryce. That's just my opinion. I don't think Broswell makes the first round, but it'll be close. Mike Ford, I think you're right. Like he's either going to be like number 30, 31, or right behind in the second round. What other questions? I'm taking questions right now. Can we get Pruitt back at DC? Alex here. That's the wishing on the star. The Alabama fans want Pruitt back so bad. I don't know if he's ever going to come back to Alabama. I know fans would like him, but Kevin Steele did such a remarkable job with Alabama's defense. I didn't catch up with him at media day. I saw him just walking around. He just he doesn't really say much. He just kind of just chills. But I thought his interview with when we talked to the defensive coaches was spot on. He was like, look, you know who the defensive coach is? He was like, Coach Saban, 1,000,000%. And he kind of like, that was his walk off. I thought that was funny. What else you guys got inside the comment box? I'll be here for a little bit more taking questions. And then as news breaks, I'll catch up with you guys live. I appreciate you guys supporting the channel. Hit me up. A lot of positive report for Kevin Steele inside the comment box. Drop me an emoji, elephant emoji inside the comment box right now if you feel that you guys were excited or happy with Kevin Steele's defense. Elephant emoji for Kevin Steele. That means thumbs up. I want to hear from you guys. Proctor played great for a freshman. Hot take, Dallas Turner is going to be mid first round pick. Yeah, I think either mid or top 10. We're going to see a lot of elephants come in. This is for Kevin Steele. Kevin Steele retiring. That's what they said. Huh. I don't know. I haven't heard that about Kevin Steele. What is he going to be 68? That would be major news that we would talk about. I haven't heard that yet. The expectation is that he will be the coach for the defense going into the springtime. What else you guys got? God. We got the title coming up on Monday. Who you guys got? Washington or Michigan? I asked this I think a couple days ago. I guess I'm going to I'm not pulling for really anybody, but I think I'm going to predict that Michigan wins. I guess, right? I think Jarvis said yesterday that Michigan is favored by 4.5. I've been doubting Washington all year, and I've been wrong every single time I've went against Washington. I don't know. That quarterback can thread the ball. He has great touch. I think he's better than Jaden Daniels. I really do. It's a sweet home Bama saying, "I'm not watching." uh, I think he's the best quarterback. I think Penix and Jaden Daniels, and those guys are ballers. But like Corinthian is saying, Michael Penix, the way he was just able to distribute the football time and time again, God didn't miss. Um, Golf and Outdoors is asking about what happened to Keon Keeley. Nothing. Just didn't see the field this year. Coach Saban kind of talked about some of the freshmen that got in the summertime. Uh, Keon Keeley and Jan Zapier and Richard Young, those guys got in the summertime last in 2023, and maybe that held them back from getting onto the field. But we didn't see a lot of substitution at the outside linebacker position, to be honest. Because of the fact that Dallas Turner and Chris Broswell always kept it on the field. We didn't even really see that much of Quindarius Robinson as the season went on. 505 is asking, Kyle, did you notice that Jalen Hell and Justice both got good playing time in the Michigan game? Yeah, I did. We talked about the player, Justice Haynes. More of him, please. He just has it. I don't know. Like, I'm sure you guys can see the talent. And when he got on the field, I was like, damn, like feed him. Don't take him out. Feed him. And the crazy, and I was saying that, and Jace was also playing at a really high level as well, right? But man, you could just, I could just feel it. I could feel something when Justice got in. I was surprised after the game to only see that he got the ball three times because I don't and I know the game plan and kind of in time of possession, whatever, everything is mattering until what Tommy Reese is calling on the offensive side. I just felt like the running back room, you need to give the ball to who's hot. And not to say that Jace wasn't. I don't know. I could just feel something going on for Justice. And it was kind of like reminiscent of the title game when Coach Saban had taken out Jalen and went with the true freshman Tua. Did you guys get that same feel? Right? Kind of felt like that, but at the running back position. And then Jalen Hell, yeah, I think I don't know if it's a chess move or whatever, but Coach Saban has to play some of these other guys to be able to be like, look, you are going to be a guy here. You might not be a guy right now, but look, this is you can play at the highest level. So you got to keep those younger guys fed. And I talked with Justice Haynes during the media day. What a grounded young man. I'm telling you, once he gets a media opportunity, he's going to be one of your favorites. I promise you. It very grounded, has really good faith. He talked about the fact that he's really has a strong connection with God and that he's just waiting his time. And he's just working hard, keeping his head down in the weight room. And it wasn't really coach speak. It was just like, this is the type of dude he is. I can't imagine how excited you are as a running backs coach, Gillespie, to be like, yo, I got this guy. He's coming. So, as soon as we hear more on the upperclassmen running backs, we'll keep you posted. The only thing that drives me crazy about this defense is that we refuse to play zone in crucial situations and give up big yards. The one thing, PK, what's up? I see you inside the comment box. And thanks, Sherry, for the compliment. Though I was really shocked how quickly Michigan was able to score in overtime. I mean, because that Alabama defense, they might have bent a little bit this season, but they didn't break. They really didn't. Um, Michigan did a really good job, and I talked about this earlier. Is the fact that the misdirection and Blake Corum's he's a damn good running back, damn good, but. I was shocked that they were able to get a touchdown in the end zone so quickly. I just didn't see that happening with Alabama's defense. But, that's how it goes. Michigan had a good game plan. They were able to punch it in, when it mattered most. Defense was on the field too much and got worn out. Brandon, that's a good point as well. And I felt like that was a game where Michigan had all the momentum. It seemed like they had the momentum the whole game. There was even when Alabama scored and retook the lead, it still felt like Alabama didn't flip the game in terms of momentum. It felt like Michigan was still always there. I felt there was a little bit more Michigan fans at that game, maybe like a 60-40, maybe 55 percent of the fans were Michigan. I don't know. It seemed like there was just a little bit more Michigan fans. I've been seeing Michigan fans now everywhere, even in Manhattan Beach, which isn't even remotely close to Pasadena. You know how big LA is, and I've been seeing Michigan fans everywhere still. Trez Marshall went the wrong gap. Yeah, I heard that. People talking about that. Yeah, Devin is saying 60-40. Would you agree with that? It seemed like Michigan fans had more fans there. Maybe they're more accustomed to going out to the Rose Bowl. Maybe Bama fans were, trying to, head out to Houston For the title game, I don't know. People giving Trez Marshall a little flack right now inside the comment box. I thought he did a really good job this year overall. I thought he was a good addition from the portal. Coach Saban has had a pretty good hit rate from the portal, bringing guys in. And I know you guys are really excited about Damani Jackson coming in, a 5-star. That was some news that was exciting to talk about during the Rose Bowl. Because when you look to the fact that you're losing Kool-Aid and potentially Terran Arnold, you got to load up on the secondary position. The good news is you have your All-American safety coming back and Trey Amos as well at the corner position. Love the play of Trey Amos. What other questions you guys have? Felt like we made zero adjustments and had no energy. I think kind of the break after the Georgia game, I think it affected Alabama for sure. Skyler is saying James Burnham was on fire. He was like a low-key MVP in that game. The way he was able to flip the field, I mean, booming punts. And he got hit by one of the Michigan players. You saw him kind of like spin around, came back in. I talked to James Burnham during media day. I'm sure you guys saw that interview. Really good dude. It's good to talk to another punter from Australia and get his perception. And someone asked him, they're like, is kicking rugby any difference from like a football? And Coach Saban had some funny words to say about that in terms of like a rugby ball, the NFL ball. Because if you know rugby, like the ball is like kind of like a balloon shaped thing, whereas a football is more, I mean, it's still fat, but it's kind of it's completely different from a rugby ball. He averaged 50 per punt. Killer. Yeah, he's been absolutely the best punter after J.K. Scott for sure. All right, still hurts. I'm getting past my feelings for the Rose Bowl. The day after sucked. You're just like, really? Like, that's it? Not going to Houston. Yesterday, I felt a little bit better. The transfer portal. Sometimes when you look at the transfer portal, I'm gonna tell you the truth on this. Sometimes these guys are getting processed out in a weird way. Like they just are not going to play during their time at Alabama because of one thing or another. So they're kind of like transferred out. Not to say that some of them don't hurt 100%. And that's what I don't like. Like when a guy does leave, you're like, oh, he wasn't good anyways. No, some of these guys are good. Like I thought the wide receiver coach Holman Wiggins was good. I thought Terrence Ferguson was good. I thought Earl Little was good. I think those guys would have played here at Alabama. I don't know about a Christian Story. Seth clearly had to leave. Shaz Preston, don't even think we had enough really to see him play at all. I like Shaz Preston. I liked his game. So some of these guys leave too early. The transfer portal is a mess, especially the timing of it, because you have so much to deal with in the month of December during a critical time of college football, the playoffs, and now the bowl games are meaningless because of all these meaningless because the fact of the playoffs. So next year it's going to be different with 12 teams, but still players are going to still hit the transfer portal. I think the windows need to be changed in terms of what the NCAA could do. Sherry is asking, Kyle, do you think a lot of players entered the portal to make room for the new players? Yeah, I mean, Alabama has to fit under a certain amount of scholarships. So that's always something that Alabama was looking at too. Don't try to rack yourself up with like the numbers. That's one of the questions that we always used to talk about with Andrew Bone is like, what are the numbers going to be? It's like they figure it out. And some guys might not be on scholarship and they might be getting paid by their family, but they're still in the team. There's so many different ways to work around to get the numbers fixed in. So I don't even worry about the numbers anymore because, I mean, this happens every single year and they're going to be able to figure it out one way or another. I think oh, what's up, Quincy? I appreciate you becoming an ultimate fan funder, man. Thank you so much to become a fan funder. I don't know where it is on this interface, but I think it is down by the super chat. If you want to become a monthly supporter of this YouTube channel, I really appreciate all the support. In an interview at Disney World, Nick Saban looked a little nervous and gave me a little bit of a knot in my stomach that he wasn't satisfied with the team practices out there, and it ended that way. That's a comment in from Michael Cody. He did talk for 20 minutes at Disneyland ahead of the Rose Bowl. I don't know. It felt like Coach Saban, kind of, his normal dialed in. It was just what was frustrating about the Rose Bowl. It was like a repeat of all of the bad games that Alabama had played, like kind of meshed into one, right? Besides like an interception or something like that, it was just it was weird. The bad snaps. There wasn't too many penalties. Um, I don't know. It was just it felt weird. It didn't. It just didn't feel. Do you have a mailing address? Yeah, I will put the business mailing address inside the community tab at some point. Saban interviewed better than Harbaugh for sure. Harbaugh is a little bit of a strange dude with interviews, and in fact, like somebody who uploads press conferences, I was a little bit bummed out that we got Jim Harbaugh just because he has some really weird answers to some of his questions. Kind of just seems off a little bit. I don't know. Really good coach, and I look. You guys know I follow the 49ers, so loved it when he was with the Niners, but just I don't know, kind of a little bit weird. Some of his answers come up. Someone said creepy. I think that would probably be a good way to say it. Yeah, so I don't know, kind of a really weird dude. All right. Well, I appreciate you guys being here. This is just the morning jump, so I'm sure more news is going to come out throughout the day. So hit the thumbs up, be notified every single time we drop a video right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. Disinterested. Mike is saying he's disinterested, not creepy. Whatever the case, it's still awkward. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. I appreciate you guys being here. Stay notified for more news. I think there's going to be more news coming within the next couple of days. So hit the bell, always be notified, and look for breaking content right here on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. Kyle Henderson coming to you from Manhattan Beach. I'll be back in Alabama, getting on Friday night. And be back at it next week from Tuscaloosa, man. Golfing outdoors, love you too, man. And it's about time for the golf season because, as you guys know, during the springtime, I like to play on the Alabama Amateur Tour, traveling around the great state of Alabama, competing. It's fun. I mean, I never would have thought that I would have went to some of these RTJ courses and played golf. I mean, some of like the courses up in Muscle Shoals were super challenging. It was like bunkers projecting or protecting bunkers. And then I went to Mongolia Grove down by Mobile, which is west. And I thought that course was really, really nice. So you guys want to get together and play some golf? Let me know. We'll hit up some RTJs for sure. But one more time, Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys being here. Stay notified for breaking content as it happens. And I will come back to you next time right here on Bama Football on YouTube.